Strength training is better than CrossFit for just about any goal. You see, when CrossFit came out, there were all these promises and this branding, this marketing that CrossFit would completely revolutionize training for the average man and woman as well as the athlete. In fact, any athlete. They said CrossFit would give you the endurance of a marathon runner, help you build the strength and explosiveness of a linebacker. It would help you build muscle like a bodybuilder, and it would give you that lean, beach body physique that you really want. It would be the best of both worlds. But you see, we don't actually see that in practice. Yes, CrossFit has brought some great things. Number one, it's got more people lifting weights, more people using barbells. I'm totally for that, all right? Yes, we've got exciting things like the CrossFit Games, and as a result of that, we've got all these pictures and videos of beautiful men and women athletes who have incredible physiques and even more incredible performance. Yet that doesn't carry over to the average man or woman who's 40 years old, who's been working at an office job for 10 years, who walks into your local CrossFit box. You see, most of these trainers have very little experience. Just like any other trainers, it's not just CrossFit. It's hard to find a great trainer. But when you combine that with someone who's got, they're 40 years old, they haven't worked out in 10 plus years, they sit at an office job all day, they have horrible mobility, they're out of shape, they're weak, and then you're teaching them complex movements and having them do that in a fatigued state, you're playing with fire. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that you're definitely gonna get injured if you do CrossFit. But again, you're playing with fire. Here's why I believe strength training is hands down a better goal for just about anybody than CrossFit. Number one, strength training is safer. Again, I'm not gonna sit here and say if you do CrossFit, you're going to get injured. It's not that simple. A lot of people go through the programs with no injuries. However, most of the people who don't get injured are either, very genetically fortunate. They're your former, college athletes who have joints of steel and just aren't gonna get hurt. Or they're younger people, all right? People in their 20s. But just because you're in your 20s and can do CrossFit does not mean that it is the best choice for you, okay? Like, you need to be thinking long-term here. And so, for sure, you are way more likely to get hurt doing CrossFit. And one of the big reasons is not just the coaching. Let's assume you have a great coach, but when you've got large group classes, okay, and you're doing this for time, it creates a competitive environment, okay? And when you're competing with people with little to no lifting experience, regardless of how good the coaches are, you're doing it in a fast-paced environment, okay? Bad things are likely to happen, okay? Not to mention, they do what we call high-risk, high-reward exercises. These are things like Olympic lifts and box jumps. And while sure, they look great for an Instagram post and they do have a good payoff, the danger is that they're also a highly skilled movement. It's very technical. And so if you haven't mastered it, you probably have no business doing it, doing many reps, and especially doing many reps in a fatigued state. For example, there's no reason you should be doing snatches or box jumps after doing a quarter-mile sprint. It's just dumb and risky, okay? At Steel Strength Training, we do what we call low-risk, high-reward movements. We encourage lots of rest. We obsess with perfect form. The only person you're competing against is yourself in strength training. You're not trying to compete against other people. So that competitive environment is not here. You're only competing with yourself, trying to be better. The second point about why strength training is better is that strength training is more sustainable. You see, yes, of course, training intensity matters. If you want results, you need to train hard. However, one thing you have to take into account, I want you to stop asking the question, what's going to get me the best results 2 weeks from now? And start asking, what's going to get me the best results for the next 6 months, 12 months, the next 5 years, 10 years, for the rest of my life? You see, sustainability is kind of like the word reliability. And here's a little story about that. I used to make fun of my mom when I was 16 years old when she went out and bought a Toyota Camry. I said, Mom, why did you buy a Camry? If you could have, a car, why would you pick a Camry? She said, it's reliable, and that's about all you need to know. And I just thought that was so crazy. I thought it was so silly until it wasn't, all right? I'm paying my own bills, and now I see that having a car that's reliable is sexy. Having a car that's always going to be around is sexy, and so is a sustainable workout program. It's hard to market that in a sexy, flashy way, but for those of you who have been burned out by program and diet after diet, you find sustainability sexy too. So you have to ask yourself, not just what's going to get you the best results today in the next 2 weeks, you have to ask, what's going to set me up for long-term success? Strength training wins just about every time. All right, and the last thing, I've kind of pitched that last point like you have to choose between sustainability and the best results. But I would actually argue point number 3, strength training will get you better results than CrossFit, and here's why. CrossFit does a little bit of everything. And when they came out, they said by doing a little bit of everything, you're going to be a master of all of them. It doesn't work like that. You end up being a jack of all trades, master of none. And so by strength training, by obsessively focusing on using heavy weights, lower reps, plenty of rest time, obsessively focusing on getting stronger, you're going to get better results. Now, why do I say that? We know that the fastest way to change your body is by getting stronger. And so the fastest way to get stronger is by focusing on getting stronger and removing all the other fluff from the program. Quite frankly, the rest times are too short and you're doing too much in the gym in most CrossFit workouts for you to optimize your results, okay? So again, just to recap, strength training is better than CrossFit for just about any goal because 1, strength training is much safer. Number 2, it's more sustainable. And number 3, it gets you better results.